Hello guys, this is Sniper Elite V2, Sniper Elite difficulty walkthrough. This is mission 4, or in my opinion mission 3 because I'm not counting the prologue. This is the Kaiser-Friedrich Museum. Hopefully I've not butchered that German too much, but this is a slightly different level because we are going to be fighting Ruskies instead of the Germans this time. Germans will show up in this one, but this is the mission that really starts to hammer home the fact that this is more of a Cold War thriller rather than just a straight up World War II game, which is just another added layer which makes me really like this game. I think when it comes to the plot, I mean these aren't games you play for the plot, but I think it's definitely got the most interesting out of the 4 games, counting the first one. The first one, I mean, is basically this plot as well, so if we just count it as 3 games, with it being Sniper Elite 2, 3 and 4. I think it's got the most interesting plot. The other 2 are kind of just straight up World War II, you know, like spy thrillers. But there's nothing in the first 3 quarters of this mission that should trouble you guys. There is a very difficult section right at the end, guys, mainly because, you know, the game's a bit of a bitch and not giving you a checkpoint. So that's mainly the main difficulty. This is the first mission you're probably going to have any real trouble with, I would have thought, if you're experienced with these kind of things. But it's pretty self-explanatory, guys. Just follow the video for the first part, and when we get to the difficult stuff, I'll start to explain it. I'll just make sure and reiterate, guys, we are still rocking the Springfield, because as I say, I want this walkthrough to stand up for those that are playing on the PlayStation 3. But what should we talk about this time? I mean, I can stay a bit Sniper Elite relevant because I've recently been playing Sniper Elite Zombie Army, not even Sniper Elite, Zombie Army Trilogy with a few friends. I'm now doing it with 4 people, which is the first time I've ever done it, and we're playing it on Sniper Elite difficulty, but we've got the enemy set up down to 3 players as opposed to 4 players. Which, if you're wondering why I've done that, it's because one of the persons we're playing with, he's never played Sniper Elite ever, not one of them before. I picked up the Zombie Army Trilogy because it's dirt cheap in all these sales that PlayStation are doing. So they're being kind of half decent out this Sony, I suppose. They're giving us lots of sales and lots of games to play during this current apocalypse that we're all going through, but which hopefully we're slowly but surely coming towards the end of. But we'll see what goes on with the apocalypse and everything. Hopefully it's going to end pretty soon. But as I say, picked up Zombie Army Trilogy, so we've been playing. We've done 4 levels now as of last night when this was last recorded, and that's a beautiful explosive kill, that. We've done 4 levels. It's been a lot of fun. The first one was utter hell because you know, I stuck it on Sniper Elite difficulty because I'm evil like that. 4 players, and we barely scraped through the level, but we did 3 last night, so it's been a lot of fun. I think we're going to get through it, and I've just noticed that Zombie Army 4 has come out on a discount. It's now down like 20 quid, and that's UK. I don't know what I'm doing here standing around, guys. Ignore me. Just press on into the building. I was probably checking my phone or something. Caught up in a 21st century life as always, on the phone and social network and blah blah blah. So I think we're going to pick up Zombie Army 4 because it looks far superior a game. Because the thing with Zombie Army Trilogy is it's using this engine, this Sniper Elite V2 engine, which is very clunky, very dated, not a great engine, not great gameplay. But as I say, the charm gets it through, and the fact it's co-op adds a lot. But Zombie Army 4 looks like it's based off Sniper Elite 4 mechanics, and they've come a long way since this game. You know, quite mad in those 5 years what they managed to achieve. So that should be a lot of fun. It looks like you got weapon upgrades, a zombie shark, a bloody zombie tank, which sounds a bit too Devil May Cry 2 for my taste, but it looks fun. So yeah, definitely, I think we're definitely going to pick that up. It's quite incredible what Rebellion has managed to do with this franchise, because it's such a low-key franchise. When this second one came out, like, no bugger had heard of Sniper Elite 1 on the PS2. I think some people will have played it, and the original Xbox for those that may have had that version, but it's incredible for a game that, let's be frank, isn't that great or even good at times, but through its charm, it just so manages to just it's managed to ride this incredible wave. And then Sniper Elite 3, which was a big improvement over this one in how it plays, similar also, you know, kind of took off. And then Sniper Elite 4 was actually a genuine great game with great game mechanics, and, you know, deserves its place. And if they can keep improving, they're going to go a long way with this franchise. In fact, they already have. I mean, I always say, you know, not many franchises get to a number 5 installment. It's quite some achievement, especially for an indie developer with a game like this. And let's remember the title of these franchises. It's called Sniper Elite, and that just sounds like such a bygone era of games, doesn't it? It sounds like something you see in the arcade, like at your local cinema, doesn't it? Like you feel like you should see it there, Sniper Elite, and it'd be some shitty game that just steals. It's just there to steal like pound coins off you that only the rich kid can get. But I don't know where I'm going with this tangent, but yeah. But I'm sure you guys know what I mean. It's incredible what they managed to do, and the fact they've got a zombie, 4 zombie games already. Like on the back of that, fair play to Rebellion. They're doing their bits. The only area I disagree with them is I think they charge a bit excessive for their DLC, which everybody's guilty of. But I just wish they charged a little less, considering. But hey, if I keep buying it, then I can't really complain, can I? And I need to do the I need to do Sniper Elite 4 DLC still. I'm lacking behind on that. But I'll just touch briefly on the game here, guys. So once you've cleared up all the way to here and unsuccessfully used your rail rod, because it's dog, it's only good for headshots, guys, this weapon. So as you can see, we're going to get a new sniper, which use your own sniper if you're playing this on the remaster or in a new game. But if you're going for this first time through, you're going to get the Moisen again. So there you go, a little fun edit from myself there. Now what's funny is this is actually a second attempt, because you may have seen a fail video on the channel where my own trap killed me after getting a beautiful 5-for-1, which I was crying about. But thankfully I still got it because it's right here. This is an amazing opportunity for a 5-for-1, and this is the game at its absolute best in my opinion, because the game's taught you can do remote detonations by shooting grenades, and it sets this up beautifully. Like, just watch this. Thankfully the wind's on my side. If the wind's not on your side, this is a bit tricky to do. Also co-op I find this a bit tricky to do, but solo I get this every time, I generally find. But look at this. This is fantastic game design, this. So there we go, we hit that grenade. Oh, I just love how it hypes it up so much. But look at that X-ray cam, that's brutal. But there you go, 5-for-1. And then make sure you take out the sniper up there, because he's your biggest concern, as I throw a grenade in panic. But yeah, the Moisen again, that's your second sniper rifle. There's only 3 in the main game. Obviously the DLC gives you a lot more on the remaster. But this sniper's a lot better. It seems to have better zoom. It's certainly more powerful, I think. I can't remember if it's worse for wind and gravity, or I don't think you have to compensate as much. The game always tells you this in the mission description, so just check it. I know the Gavur has the worst, but the main advantage of that gun is it's semi-automatic, so you can obviously fire 2 shots as opposed to bolt action. But there's nothing so far, guys, that should have given you any trouble in this mission, by the way. So there's going to be a cheeky sniper here who does nearly kill me. It's just, I wish the checkpoints were just a bit better. What the other games have done, Sniper Elite 3 and 4, is they've given you manual saving, and I think that that's definitely a big plus in a game like this. But those games I think are significantly easier. But like this sniper here, he's quite a tricky one to hit. You've got to aim quite above. So just with these guys, patience is key. I know it's boring, but that's because of Gears of War. Every game from this time played like this. Just wait behind cover until your health regenerates and then go for him. Don't be brave. The only thing you're going to lose is your ego, a bit of ego, and you're going to lose a lot of progress. So it's not worth it. I should have said you'll gain a bit of ego, but it's not worth it. Just stay in cover until your health regenerates, then get him. There's no reason to get killed by just one sniper in this game. 2 snipers, different story, and we'll touch on that at the end of this mission. That's why this mission's an absolute bitch. But I want to talk briefly about Sniper Elite 5. We know there's going to be another Sniper Elite. It was meant to be revealed this year. That may still be on course, but I don't know with the whole apocalypse whether that might have changed. With a COVID and China's got more stuff to blame. But what I'll say on Sniper Elite 5 is I think we're done with World War II at this point. Well, not done, sorry. I think we're done fighting Germans. That's my main point. We've done Africa, we've done Berlin, and we've done Italy. Yeah, that's right, yeah. So I'm kind of worried they're going to go like France or Normandy or something. I do some stuff with D-Day and just after the Battle of Paris, which could admittedly be interesting. You could have V2 rockets, but again, you've already done that with this. So what I'm really hoping with, guys, with Sniper Elite 5 is it's a different setting in World War II. I think it's a great opportunity to have the Japanese, the Pacific Theatre. I think that could lead to some interesting game design. You could really mix things up with like traps, Japanese snipers in trees, climbing trees. I really want Sniper Elite 5 to be in Japan. If not, Korea's a decent substitute, or a completely different war with a different protagonist. Maybe Carl's like nephew or something in Vietnam. But I'm going to have to stop my talk about Sniper Elite 5. I'll go more into depth because I've got some ideas for future Sniper Elites, but I'm going to talk about this bit. leave these two guys alive, guys. That's my best advice there. There's some easy stealth kill points, but I generally find that those bodies get discovered. And I'm actually going to make a mess of this, but there is a way you can, guys. You can learn from my mistakes. My honest recommendation is just not to kill many people here. You can really slip by. Their patterns are very fair. So you're going to see this guy in the middle. Just make sure he doesn't see you, because the sight lines are kind of BS at times. They can be quite fair, but then there seems to be like 1 in 5 enemies seems to see ridiculous range. But this guy will always come to this window, guys, so let him come to the window. I suppose you could let him go back to his patrol pattern, but I choose to take this guy out with the well rod. Nobody should find this body, so you should be okay with this one. I don't recommend moving the bodies because that causes you to stand up and make noise. It's a bit annoying you can't crouch and carry bodies like something like Splinter Cell, but it's not an option. Now, I can't remember if stealth killing this guy is my mistake, but you're probably best off killing him and moving him to the back of the room, because he's going to see his friend otherwise if you leave him. So that's my recommendation here. But I like this section of stealth, even though I mess it up in this vid. And it goes to show that you can still get out of it if you mess up. There's a lot of space here to go around in, so it's a lot of fun. You would think doing this co-op would make it easier, but I often find co-op stealth is just another person with you as well as yourself to just mess up. So co-op stealth never seems to go well for me. I didn't grow up with Splinter Cell, so I'm sure there's some Splinter Cell players who are absolutely perfect at doing co-op stealth, but I'm not there yet. I just can't remember. So there's this guy in the middle of the courtyard. I don't think this guy typically sees me, but I go to take him out. But don't make my mistake, guys. Don't do that. I would say just head through the main bit, go prone, and just crawl your way all the way to here. Because I got in a right bit where I was stuck here for 5 minutes because all the enemies were chasing me. There'll be a guy at the top. Normally you can stealth this guy. I just PPSH him because I managed to pick that gun up now. And if you do get spotted like this, guys, just leave some dynamite and a trip mine behind and you should be fine. You're good to go. So I say, learn from my mistakes, guys. Just stay prone, don't get spotted in that room, and you'll have a much easier time here. It might be worth leaving a trip mine there though anyway, because when you make some noise here you might get spotted. So I throw a grenade, take these two out, and I think there'll be a third one at the end of this room. But just PPSH him. The recommendation for that is, guys, fire it in bursts, because every time you hit him with like a few bullets he does get staggered, so you can constantly get him stun locked and take him out very easily. Because unfortunately I don't think there's any way to stealth that. Those guys that are putting up the barrier, but quite simple, guys. We're to the top of here and we've got to blow up that bridge where we set the explosives and then get the hell out of here, which is a lot easier than it sounds. So you got an easy shot here. I have to say the wind's been quite generous to me, these levels we've done so far. I'm sure it's going to get much more interesting later on. I don't know what that noise was, by the way. Just enemies dying, I guess. But just pick your moment, let a few tanks get across, blow it all up, flood Berlin, and press on. So you're going to have a bunch of Russians down here. My recommendation here, guys, is kind of leave the ground troops, even though I'm ignoring that. Get some kills if you want, because sniping is a heck of a lot of fun. I mean, if it wasn't, nobody would play this game, or there'd be no sequels. But the main objective here is to destroy this tank. You've got to do this before you can move on. So just wait for it to stop moving. These Russian tanks are very easy to deal with, I find, compared to the Panzers or Tiger tanks. I'm not sure what the Germans are, but that's much easier to hit on the side, and then you can just move on. I find it's best to leave these Russians alive. They ain't going to pick you off when you're running away. So I'm just thinking what's coming up. Yeah, there's going to be two guys that come up. These two gave me a bit of issue, so cheeky grenade will deal with them. They're a bit cheap, those bastards. I'm not a fan of that spawn there, but just take them out using our good old sniper or PP, whatever works for you. But the problem is the game tells you to go down, and there's a good chance on your first time through you're just going to go down there and get slaughtered. So I'm not a fan of that checkpoint game. Should have done better, Rebellion. Telling you off for that one. But this is the horrible section. It would be fine if it gave you a checkpoint halfway through, but it doesn't. So just know this is your last checkpoint to the end of the game, and you've got to get all the way to the escape. Now, interesting point to note, guys, there's a German sniper there, and there's a Russian sniper over there. You can actually leave these two. The Russian sniper will shoot a few Germans. In fact, I think that's what I'm letting him do. So what I find is take the German sniper out, let the Russian do a bit of damage to the German troops on the ground, and then take him out. If you don't want to do that, if you're confident with your sniping ability, just ignore that. Kill both snipers straight away. Sorry, voice just went a bit. But yeah, I'm trying to work with this Russian sniper. I mean, we are both trying to defeat Nazis after all. I'm not sure what happened just then. I noticed that the frames skipped, didn't they? Went straight to that guy being dead. But oh, this section. In my opinion, there should be a checkpoint once you've done these bits on the ground. But unfortunately, I think I got stuck here for about 10 plus minutes. But I think if you can get through this bit, guys, you've got enough in you to get through the game. Because I'm just thinking about what's coming up. There's only one really rough section, I think, in this game. The very end is very rough, but what I'll say is if you can get that far, you can finish the game, guys. So don't worry, I will get you through it if you are struggling. I have all faith in everyone. But yeah, those Russians across the bridge, they ain't going to do alt to you. But here, there should be a checkpoint right there. If there was a checkpoint here, this would be so much better. But alas, there's not one. If there was manual saves in this game, I would just say save every 5 seconds as always. But you're going to get a few here. I think that's 3. I think there's 4 that come in total. 2 from the middle and 2 to your right. So I find this to be the power position. If you go to the rubble on the right, I find you're just going to get flanked. So take these guys out. The problem I have with these whole sections is it's all, if you don't know the spawns, you're screwed basically. If you know the spawns, it's easy. But head out here. This is going to spawn 2 guys, I think. Let's see. I can't find them right now because I'm being stupid. Yeah, one guy there. Yeah, and the other one's going to go on this MG42, which is a bit of a nightmare. That's some MP45, yeah. So there's 2 guys, I was right, yeah. So take these geezers out. You don't have to contend with much bullet drop here, so just always adjust it a bit high. But the MG42 is going to require a bit of bullet drop. You're going to have to aim a bit higher than him. Things to note with the MG42, guys, aim above the heads all the time, because if you're not getting headshots, you ain't doing anything. So you could honestly pump your entire magazine into him, and he doesn't seem bothered. There's some weird rules with the MG guys and MG42s. But even if the checkpoint was here, it'd be fine, but there's not. So what makes this difficult is we've got 2 MG42s, in fact, I forgot about that. So as you can see, guys, you shoot him in the body and he just seems to go, I mean, I got quite lucky that he died after 2, but I've got footage. I've got endless footage of me shooting a guy on an MG42 and he's not bothered. But I think we've got 3 snipers, in fact. So you think you've got the one here. Don't go on that. Do not use that cover, guys. As you can see, it's absolutely awful. If he'd have picked me off then when I was running, that'd have been it. I'd have lost what, 6 minutes of progress, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is in a game like this. So I go for this cover instead, because this one seems a lot safer. So we just need to make sure we get the sniper out. This one's not too bad. So take him out and get a lovely bullet cam kill. That's absolutely lovely. But we're not done yet, guys. We've got 2 more to deal with. And this is my biggest thing, guys. Go through the house. Do not use the wall as cover. It's not good cover. I've got a really good power spot. Not just here, I don't think. It's a bit further on. We've got this door, which honestly is a power position. Use this door cover that I'm going to show you. There may be some better cover later on, but I found this very useful. It's a bit cheesy, but it gets you through it. So you can have one there, top right window. Take him out. And then the other one is going to be on the floor below that. We'll see his glint in a minute. So he's going to pip you. Just move to the... But here you go. This is the power position. It's very cheap, this, guys, and you can still be hit. But you can shoot his elbow when it shows up. So just take it easy. As I say, you're going to be able to cheese this guy out. So as you can see, I'm just waiting to get my health back. It's generally a good idea to bait them to shoot like that, because then you know you can hit them if they're using a bolt action. But you can see, guys, I'm being very tentative here because I've died a few times. He's bitten me, and it hurts being bit. So use the scope like this. Keep shooting his arm, because I am doing damage here. It's going to take a lot, but yeah, clipping his arm. It's not the most honourable way to deal with him, but hey, his spawn is BS, so do what you want. Get your revenge on him for all the trouble he's given you. I'm probably, because I'm not aiming to the right a bit more because of the bullet, the wind. But there you go, hit him in the arm about 6 times and that should take him down. And that's it, guys, you've done this mission. So yeah, that end bit looks easy, doesn't it, when I show it like that, but believe me guys, I got stuck a long time. And I may leave it in, I can't remember if I have done, but you'll see, this is a 20-minute video, 20 minutes and 30 seconds, but this mission took me 36 minutes. So there you go, bit lengthier, definitely a much harder mission than the previous two, but you should get through it guys, just take it easy and you'll be fine. I'll see you next time.